Hey there, it's Craig. Have you ever been around someone and after finishing a conversation with them, you walk away and you wonder, what exactly did we talk about? And that's where today's show is coming from. Talking without saying anything. Join me. Let's explore this topic together in our next episode of Career Growth Made Easy. I was an engineer and in 2008 lost my job due to the economic collapse. Jobs were scarce. I didn't know where to turn to get help updating my resume. Online services and coaches charge hundreds, even thousands of dollars. I took matters into my own hands and learned how to craft interview-winning resumes. Shortly later, I landed a job with a Fortune 500 company. I've helped many achieve similar success. Now I share my tips to create interview-winning resumes, interviewing excellence, and high-performance growth strategies on my podcast, Career Growth Made Easy. I'm your host, Craig Ansell, and you're listening to another episode of the Career Growth Made Easy podcast. Thanks for joining me. We are now into episode 163. Talking without saying anything. So, before we get into today's show, I ask you, have you ever had a conversation with someone? It could be a person you haven't seen for a while, but you're excited to talk to. It could be a colleague at work, maybe a family friend. I don't know. And you just had a conversation, no matter how brief or how long. And when it was over, you were kind of left dumbfounded, kind of questioning and going, wow, that was great. What exactly did we talk about? I can't seem to remember too many details. Or, wow, that was a long discussion. Is that all we talked about? Just that one little topic? The point being, we all have different personalities. We all think from different ways, different views, see things from different views. And there's more than one way to communicate a message. Sometimes it's done effectively and efficiently, and sometimes it's not. Maybe the long road was taken when you could have just done a short line. The distance between two dots is quickest when it's a line, a straight line. Get to the point. But everybody's different. Some people like long, drawn-out stories. Other people like just the facts. And some people like details. And there's other types as well. Just to give you an idea, we all think differently. I had a prior episode, Thinking from Different Viewpoints, and I'll pull up the episode number for that and put that in the show notes. It might give you an idea about different people's perspectives, different people's personalities. But about today's show, talking without saying anything. I'm dating myself and the fact that I have a wide interest in musical talents and musical genres. But I do listen to rap. And in the 80s, there was a group called Run DMC. They had a song, and it was titled, You Talk Too Much. The chorus just repeated, you talk too much, you talk too much. And in one of the segments, they said, 25 hours, 8 days a week. Then they also added, I said your mouth is moving fast, and your brain is moving slow. Ouch. Do you know someone that likes to talk? Seems to be talking all the time. If there's a pause in the conversation, they're going to jump right in. How about if you're having a discussion with them, you can't seem to get a word in edgewise, and they just continue to talk and even take really quick breaths? That might be somebody that we're talking about today, just to observe them, just to understand how things work. I referenced earlier another episode, and it was our hats episode from one of the authors out there that talks about different perspectives. I also mentioned it's important that we know about each other's personalities because that helps us to communicate and hopefully communicate with improved passion and improved focus. That show was Thinking from Different Perspectives, episode 159, and it might provide value to you as we have today's discussion. When we talk, we typically like to communicate something of value to our listener or to our audience. If all we do is talk to fill space, fill space and time, our words may not have value. That's where the phrase talking but not saying anything comes from. If you have ever been around someone that likes to be the center of attention, maybe even louder than your voice, they talk most of the time when they're in groups, and you know what I mean. How about someone that frequently interrupts others because they feel their message or story is more important, or that they just can't hold themselves, they can't compose themselves, and they have to blurt out something that triggered a memory, a thought, and they had to speak over others or speak more loudly than others to take control? That's something sometimes that we have to kind of recognize and cause ourselves to ponder and wonder what's going on here, what's so important. This kind of conversation I'm talking about, it could even be one-sided, in fact, not a conversation at all, more of a monologue. It can quickly turn you off. It even cause you to shut down and stop listening. You may not do it intentionally, but it's just that you can't find any useful information, any useful data, factual content, and you kind of just, again, lose focus. It means you're physically present, but you're not tuned in. If you're someone like this, it can be a wake-up call to perform a self-check. Being excited to share information or data is fine, but it's all about what we share and how we share it that matters. That's right. It's the what, the content, and how we share it, the approach. There are basic rules of etiquette here that apply. For one example, I use the 2 ears and 1 mouth concept. What's that? Listen twice as much as you speak. With regards to that 2 ears, 1 mouth concept, genuinely digest the information you're receiving and think and process before you respond. I mentioned earlier about the fact that there should be silence in conversations or pauses. Sometimes we're so comfortable with listening to our own voices, we even become fearful or have anxiety when it comes to pauses in conversations or pauses when we're speaking. That can lead to us using filler words. That's the ums, the ahs, so, and, you know. And so when those things happen, they're filler words. If you'd like to know more about the different types of filler words, what causes them, and possibly ways to improve and to reduce filler words if you're speaking them, go to episode 55, Getting Rid of and Filler Words. But more on today's show, Talking Without Saying Anything. Let's imagine 2 people speaking. I mentioned earlier that one way to view things is the straightest, most efficient way possible. The shortest amount of information, it'll be concise. That's going from point A to B, and it's a straight line. But the person that's speaking doesn't know that or isn't capable. And there's this big squiggly mess of spaghetti up in their heads as they unravel the conversation. And what could have taken just a few moments, a few seconds of conversation to get the point across, turns into a long, drawn-out story. That story is also coupled with the person's concern of silence. They become uncomfortable, maybe a little anxiety, a little fear, a little nervousness. So they insert filler words. The so, yeah, and come out while they're taking very quick breaths. It's difficult to interject in those conversations so that you can confirm what you've received from the giver, from the speaker. But there have got to be ways to do it. We need to identify the factful, useful information to us that they're providing, whether it's a one-on-one conversation or one-on-many. And if it's for the workplace, be able to digest it and use it for the value it was intended. So, if we're the ones speaking, it might challenge both of us to think about how we do these things. How many words do I use to get a point across? What type of energy, tone, delivery do I have? Do I truly respect and appreciate my listener, my audience, their time? Do I read the recipient's body language to see that they're engaged, they're understanding. Talking without saying anything has some challenges. And with that, I'm trying to provide some areas that can help you and I improve if we're the speaker in this situation and we're uncomfortable with silence. Or if we're naturally a high-energy person that likes to speak so quickly, we almost eliminate pauses and silence from our speech patterns. If your conversational tone, your pitch, your speed works for you, no problem, not judging you. But if you'd like to improve upon your communication style, today's show might be of some help. I would think that we would want to naturally slow down our tone, our pitch, our speed. Not slow down your tone, but monitor your tone. And make sure that you observe your audience member, whether it's, again, one-on-one or one-on group, your audience members. If there's something you've said that they don't understand, maybe take a pause. Ask if there's any questions. Ask if there's something that you can repeat. We should challenge ourselves to be prepared for conversations, especially those that we're intending to have. Don't wait for someone's time, then go up to them and have this long, kind of confusing, roundabout conversation. Try to have more efficient, more effective conversations. How can you do that? Sure, you want to be cordial, greet the person. Say, hey, I wanted to mention something to you, and get right to the point. Pause. Let them digest the information, and then respond. You could also follow up to make sure there's good understanding and closure. So I just wanted to make sure that you understood the discussion we had and confirm that you did not have any questions. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Or it could be a different way of approaching things. But again, it's all about how we communicate. And as we prepare to close this episode, I'm going to leave you with a little listener challenge. I haven't done that in a while, and it's kind of exciting. Please write in, send comments, emails, and let me know how it goes when I challenge you to this for episode 163, Talking Without Saying Anything. The next time you plan to have a conversation, think about the 2 or 3 key points that you're trying to bring up in this conversation and convey, and focus on saying that in the most effective, clear, concise way possible. See how your listener does for receipt and delivery of the message. Let me know if you've modified your speaking habits and how easy or how difficult you felt it was, and what processes you're using, what tips, what tricks you're using. I'll be happy to share those with my listeners. Again, reach out to me at Craig Ansell, CraigAncel on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and you can email me directly, craig@craigansell.com. Plus, you can always look around my website for helpful tips, free downloads, and if you ever need coaching advice or resume or cover letter help, I have 2 online courses for that. Craig Ansell, signing off for the Career Growth Made Easy podcast. Thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to our channel. New episodes every Monday. In the meantime, why don't you follow us on social media at Craig Ansell on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. To book a coaching appointment, download our free guides, or join our email list, check out the links in the description below.